Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game, and welcome back to the Royal Trap, where this time we will chase Prince Nazagi. Yay! So I fast forwarded everything. I picked the same options I had before, so there's nothing new to see. So I spared you all that so that we can go and search his room. So we'll go do that now. Fine, now let's get moving, and whatever you do, don't tell anyone I helped you. No problem, Dolores. The page leads me to Prince Nazagi's room, where she unlocks the door and holds it open for me to slip quietly inside. Then, her purpose served, she leaves me to my task. There tends to be a certain similarity to these guest quarters. After all, there's no way to know who might be residing within them at any time. The colors and furnishings may vary, but at their core, these rooms are not so different from the ones that Oscar and I share. No sign of Nazagi or his valet, nor of the princess. Not in the front room, at least. The doors to the bedchamber beyond are closed, and that is where the danger lies. It lies. Alright, I forgot he's a Farmakeist, right? Go look at all his potions and whatnot. That page mentioned a collection of small bottles which the chambermaid suspected of bearing poisons, in keeping with Nazagi's sinister reputation. No one trusts a Farmakeist, and for good reason. Still, if assassination were his intention, it would be foolish to display his tools so openly, and the princess was kidnapped by violence, as poor Oscar's head can attest, not by potion. More likely that the bottles contain something else entirely. Perfumes, cosmetics, brandies if he has a taste for them. Antidotes if poisoning is a common fare in his own land. The other possibility is darker than poison. Alchemy. Woo. Small surprise that the maids were afraid to meddle. I have seen traveling wonder workers, both the sort who amuse village children and the sort who entertain nobles. There are quite certainly men and women with the power to combine substances and make strange things happen. There are also charlatans, swindlers, and dabblers, and those last tend to come to a sticky end. The masters of the art guard their secrets jealously. Even if I find this rumored collection, I have no way to identify its contents. Better to leave that alone. I don't need to know Nazagi's vices. Sure we do. I'm trying to chase his butt. I need to find Cassidy. She's not here, man. No obvious clues out here. Everything is perfectly clean and organized, just as it would have been when the entourage from Azeneth arrived. Okay, so that's where he's from. Not everyone is as naturally untidy as Oscar. Oh, Oscar. I ease along the wall towards the bedchamber door, silent as a fish. Silent as a fish. That's an interesting expression. I can't hear anything. Maybe it's empty. I'll have to find out. But before I can open the door... Uh-oh. Is he actually here? Hi! Someone else does. Hi, Nazagi. Hey! In an instant, those long, delicate fingers are digging into my shoulders, the painful pressure making my hands fall weak and numb at my sides. Ooh, you know where my pressure points are. Ah, gosh, I've forgotten his voice. Maybe I should have prepared a little for this. Who are you? But Madeleine Valois, my lord. There's no sense in lying now. Even if he doesn't recognize me at the moment, he'll see me with Oscar later. I gambled and lost. I have to take this on the chest. You're the Ascendaware girl. Well, now you know. Know what? What is it worth for you to keep your silence? I can be generous to my friends. Believe me, you would rather be my friend than my enemy. What is he talking about? I haven't found anything to keep secret yet. And then the answer stares me in the face. What? The great and terrible Prince Nazagi is wearing spectacles like a dried-up old monk. Aw, that's terrible! Oh, he is wearing glasses. Oh, they look nice on him. Oh gosh. Are glasses a fashion no-no in this world? It would be worth laughing over if the situation weren't so dire. My lord, that's not why I'm here. I have no intention of spreading gossip about your... impairment. It's beneath my dignity. Indeed. Then why are you here? If you let go of me, I'll tell you. Please? Still sullen, he gives a final rolling squeeze to my shoulders and then releases his grip. I was gonna say, I think he's the best looking out of all the guys so far. I'm very interested to see where his route leads, because he seems like a very intelligent sort. Feeling rushes back along my arms, the tingling even more unpleasant than the loss of sensation preceding it. Still, it's only pain. If absolutely necessary, I could fight back now. I doubt his silks could stop a blade. I don't know, maybe they're made of steel. But what good would that do? I'm no assassin, I came here to investigate. I'm searching for Princess Cassidy. Unless your eyes are worse than mine, you should be able to tell that I am not she. May I view your bedchamber, sir? I mean, your highness. He steps aside, bowing his head to me in mockery. Though it may bring me shame for a woman's gaze to fall upon my most private possessions, I will not prevent you. I shake the last remnants of weakness from my hands and look past him into the inner rooms. There's no one in evidence, neither servant nor princess, and I hear no hidden captive's muffled cries. Maybe he knocked them out. But we know he didn't take her, so. Forget that idea. Dolores' gossip holds true. A 3-tiered rack of bottles stands atop a wooden table. None have labels that I can read from this distance. Many have no labels at all. Different colors, different shapes, some stoppered with crystal, others with cloth and string. There are undoubtedly secrets hidden here, but I cannot bring myself to tear apart his room while he watches. Don't be rude, Madeleine. My purpose expended, I step away from the doors. You thought I had her. I thought that these rooms were somewhere the guards were ordered not to search, and someone ought to. Someone already has. What do you mean? I'll answer your question if you answer mine. How did you get in here? A simple enough question to answer, if I choose not to keep Dolores a secret. Seems like a fair exchange to me, I will tell him. I, bribed a servant. Which one? Why? That's another question. What will you trade me for the answer? The name you just asked me for, because that was not the question I agreed to. His chest quivers briefly in a silent laugh. It is always useful to know whose help is available for a price, and whose loyalty should not be trusted. That's certainly true, and a better reason than I'd feared. I would not wish to betray those who aid me to someone who intended punishment. However, it might be that if one had excess coin, maybe somebody named Dolores might be, willing to perform a few favors, mayhap. Well, for your answer, the Crown was careful to gather both guests and attendants in order to inform them of the search for the princess. While we were thus assembled, our rooms stood empty. Which means they could promise not to search them afterwards because they'd already searched them. I should have thought of that. Should you? What is your part in all of this? Protecting the interests of my prince. That means finding Cassidy before anything can happen to her. And if I were to reveal that you were out of your rooms and sneaking around? I fold my arms and stare at him, unflinching. You go, Madeleine. Then I'd have to bring up the detail that your valet isn't in his rooms either. What are you up to, if I may ask? You noticed. I am engaged in the same task as yourself, of course. Gathering information. Perhaps at some point we will be able to make further trades. If he's telling the truth, then we are allies of a sort. Neither of us has reason to know that the other is honest, but neither do we have any reason to be enemies. At least not at the moment. With all the dark whispers I'd heard about the Prince of Azeneth, I hadn't expected to find common ground between us. Even his face seems softer here. Perhaps it's the odd bits of glass that give that effect. Or you're starting to fall for him because he's kind of cute. Even though I wish I had his hair because it's so long and luxurious looking. I think for now I'd better be going. Then I will bid you a good night. The words appear to amuse him for some reason I can't guess. Not knowing how else to respond, I bow and leave the room. He's a clever fellow, undoubtedly, embroiled in schemes and not to be trusted. He may well think the same thing about me. He is obviously trained in the fabled Azanethian pressure point techniques. That's what he used to disable me. The Vulcan pinch? If he had dropped Oscar in the gardens, he would not have needed to leave a bump on his head. Or is that what he wants us to think? If he were really hiding a kidnapped princess, surely he would have been more worried about that plan being uncovered than about someone seeing him in his spectacles. I just don't know. Right. Well, now I'm gonna go back to my room, so it should be the same. If anything different happens, I'll bring you back in, but otherwise I guess I'll see you in prison. Not like that. You know what I mean. I'll see you at the jail when Madeleine gets put in jail and stuff. Okay, until then, guys. Okay, everybody, I'm back in jail again. So, now we've got our options of who to think of, and if I've done it right, Nazagi should come for me. Unless he sends his valet to get me, but whatever. Let's hope that he comes and gets us. Why did I think of him? I suppose the aid of any prince would be useful, but would he actually help me? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. I want to find out what is going on, but for now all I can do is wait. Chapter 5C, the spider. Oh, how appropriate. I'm just picturing a spider with spectacles now. And long, flowing hair. I sit on my prison bed, absently toying with a bit of loose string. I am not being mistreated. They've even remembered to feed me. Not pastries and tiger nut milk, of course, but not pig slops either. The amenities don't go so far as to include a bath, but, well, one can't have everything. Isolation is meant to be its own form of torment. In time it will be, I know that. For the moment, though, the solitude is peaceful. I've been kept on edge for too long, worrying about my future, worrying about Oscar, watching those around me for signs of violence and betrayal. Now it's all out of my hands. There's a kind of freedom in that. Memories, dreams, and fantasies swirl unfettered in my mind, replaying past events and imagining how they might have turned out differently. Not to obsess about what I should have done, but things that would have been too dangerous or ridiculous to consider, and the amusing outcomes that they might have provoked. Imagine the scene if I had stolen Prince Nazagi's spectacles and forced him to chase me through the palace corridors to retrieve them. Aw, that would have been so mean. Yes, thank you. No, that would be cruel. Half blind, he would have tripped over his own robes and done himself injury. It would be unfair to challenge him without his spectacles. What would I look like wearing such things? Or Callum? Or Oscar? Ridiculous, no doubt. Don't think of Callum and Oscar, think of Nazagi. Lost in my thoughts, I haven't yet had time to grow lonely, and thus turn only half an ear to the sound of someone approaching. Nazagi? I'm gonna assume it's him. Well, well. Who is that? I stand and move closer to the door. Your Highness? Prince Nazagi stands outside my dungeon cell as if summoned by my thoughts. Strange how that works. It works very well, actually. I should remember to do that if I'm ever in a situation such as this. What are you doing here? You do present something of a riddle, do you not? The wrong fish caught on the wrong hook. Where's your glasses, man? I don't follow you. Certain details in your story do not appear to add up. I found you in my own rooms, engaged in what appeared to be a clandestine search for the missing princess. According to you, you were aided in breaching my privacy by the mercenary loyalties of the page Dolores Orpha. And yet, now you claim that it was you who kidnapped the princess, and the bravery of Miss Orpha which foiled your plot. An interesting story, but one that raises many questions. If you were in possession of the princess, why were you in my rooms? If this page girl was in service to the crown, why would she have aided you in that pursuit? And if she did not, if you dropped her name to me merely to discredit her, would that not suggest you already found her suspicious? In that case, how did you manage to bungle your plotting so badly? Why take her with you on your adventure? You spin a tangled tale, Miss Valois. My mind whirls as I try to put together what he knows and what he might suspect against the larger picture as I see it. Looks like manipulative Madeleine's gonna have to come out in order to deal with this brilliant guy. He seems very intelligent. Of course, Friedrich and Paloma gave no thought to Nazagi's view of events. If Dolores neglected to inform them, they might not have had any idea that Nazagi and I encountered each other earlier. Their cover story does nothing to address his questions. Prince Nazagi is not my trusted confidant. He is not my friend. He is another player in this game, looking to serve his own ends. I dare not tell him all that I know about the king and the wisdom and their lies. That could endanger Oscar for no obvious gain. On the other hand, Nazagi is the first person to contact me here in my imprisonment. He may be the only source of information that I can gain access to, my only chance to find out what is really going on. I could attempt to fill the holes in the official story, or I could keep his attention on those flaws. Yes, it is suspicious, isn't it? Suspicious. It is all rather suspicious, isn't it? So it would seem. Would you care to offer an explanation? Sometimes our choices are not of our own making. There is a danger in knowing too much. The danger of ending up where I am. The danger of ending up where I am, or worse. Man, I butchered that sentence. Of course, knowledge can also be a useful bargaining tool. That is why I am still alive. So you do know something. For a moment I smile. Let him wonder. Yes. The more value my mysterious information holds in his head, the more he will wish to be on my side. Ah, clever. My lord, if you wish to investigate these matters, I must urge caution. Asking the wrong questions of the wrong people could bring down retribution on both our heads. And if one wished to ask the correct questions, who would be the correct people? Not Oscar, certainly. I don't want to draw any more attention to him. And there's a better option, Princess Cassidy. Cassidy knows what really happened out there. I have no idea what her opinion of the cover-up is. She wasn't present at my little trial. She may not even know where I am. If she is still on the side of truth, she is the most useful ally I could recruit. It is Cassidy's family who is pulling the strings here, and they certainly wouldn't want to cast doubt on their own heir. And if, despite appearances, she is an enemy, well, then I have given Nazagi no more information than he already had. Let her pick up the pieces. If you wish to know the truth, convey your respects to the Princess Cassidy. I would greatly appreciate knowing what she has to say. I see. Well then, until we meet again. He leaves. With my limited viewing angle, he only has to take a few steps to vanish from my sight completely. It would seem that I am not completely without resources after all. Yay. Of course, this could still come to nothing. There's no way to know. I'm hopeful. And then this is the same, I think. Deck of cards. Looking out the window and imagining ladybirds and such. Let's just skip through this quick. We're at dots. Sunlight wakes me up. Let's count the blocks on the ceiling. Okay. As of yet, there has been no word from Princess Nazagi. Yes, he has long hair, but no, he's not a princess. As of yet, there has been no word from Prince Nazagi, nor from Princess Cassidy. Surely he must have reached her by now. What has she said to him? Why hasn't he returned? If no answer comes, does that mean that Cassidy approves of what has been done to me? That wouldn't seem to be in her nature. Nazagi, on the other hand, I can easily see leaving me here unless he felt he had something to gain by my freedom. Perhaps I should have given him more reason to depend on me. He may have found a way to win Cassidy's trust and gratitude while cutting me out completely. No, as calculating as he may be, he doesn't have enough information. He can't raise his suspicions to the princess without mentioning me. He must be taking his time, that's all. After all, he has no reason for urgency. He isn't the one trapped in a cell. I wonder if we find out Cassidy's secret in this walkthrough, or playthrough, or whatever. Nazagi is smart. Unless he never intended to assist me in the first place. He may already know far more than he let on. His questions to me could have been a test. I'm making myself dizzy. There are simply too many things that I don't know. Either Prince Nazagi will come back, or he won't. I should neither discount nor rely on him. If I want to get out of this position, I must be prepared to make use of every opportunity. And therefore, when a noise at the door indicates that a guard has brought me another meal, I do my best to look friendly and harmless. Thank you! What's your name? What's it to you? Nothing, really, but there's no harm in being civil. It's more polite to thank someone by name. You don't have to tell me. I can make one up. Let's see. You look like a Gerard. Am I close? No. Oh well, it'll do for now. I take my food and withdraw to my cot, not pressing him for any further interaction. Any well-trained prison guard should know enough to resist wheedling and bribes. Befriending someone properly requires familiarity over time. Well, I'm glad that Madeleine's keeping herself busy. So then, the meal. Bread, a bit of fish, and cold stew. Compared absolutely, it is a better meal than we managed yesterday morning. Still, I would rather be there at the riverside than here, but that's not the hand that I've been dealt. It's rare for anyone to have completely free choice over where they go and what they do. We are all in cages, trapped by our history, our roles, our expectations. It is only that some cages are more comfortable than others. I eat, and I sit, and I think, and time passes. And dots. A quiet tap at the door. Could it be? I sit on the bed and wait. No need to appear too desperate. Very good, Madeleine, I approve. Are you there? Can't he see? Oh, no, he probably can't. Whoops. Sorry, Nazagi. I move closer to the door. I am here, my lord. What have you learned? Tell me, is the princess's life in danger? Why is he asking me that? I'm hardly in the best position to tell. Has something happened? That is one of the things I wish to find out. I have no idea whether Cassidy is at risk at the moment or not, but I do know what happened earlier. There was an assassin. When we were returning to the castle, a man, a fanatic of some sort, tried to run the princess through. We fought him off, but the man unfortunately died before providing much in the way of information. Interesting. As you were there and I was not, who do you expect might have been behind this attack? This is not the time or place to discuss it, my lord. It is not safe. Unfortunately, it is relevant. Princess Cassidy is under guard and not accepting visitors. So you couldn't reach her. Perhaps if you trusted me with more information than vague suggestions of secrets and danger. Don't be so short-sighted, my lord. His face tightens at the reminder. Oh, Madeleine. There is danger here, and far more for me than for you. You are a prince. I am a prisoner and a scapegoat. I don't even know who else may be listening. I suppose I can't disapprove of your caution. However, if you have nothing further to tell me... Wait. Prince Callum. He would never risk his sister's safety, and he would never trust that creature Dolores. If you could talk to him in private, and tell him that you have spoken to me here... He has more freedom than I to choose what to tell you. Nazagi stares at me without speaking for a moment. Perhaps it would be more effective if I begged and pleaded? Or pretended to hold power and ordered him to obey? If only I knew him better. I've given him nothing but bluff and bluster. He could walk away and leave me here to rot. Still, Nazagi has the air of a cat with a tangled skein. He won't let this go until he has it all to pieces. Nice. As you say. Very well. I hope you have a restful evening. It's nowhere near evening. That must be his way of telling me not to expect his return anytime soon. Aw, Nazagi! And then he's gone and I'm alone again. Sad face. I don't feel much like sitting idle at the moment, so I pace a pattern across the stones of my cell. Nothing too energetic, not when I don't have the luxury of being clean afterwards. Still, it wouldn't do to let my body fall completely out of practice. Not that I have often been called upon to use my skills in the heat of combat. A good companion is a noble's last line of defense, one that should remain in reserve. I have more experience in sparring or chasing off boisterous drunks than I do in resisting assassination. I will defend what needs defending, but I could never become a fighter for hire. I could never kill for coin. And no simple coin could have bought that guardsman who tried to kill the princess. As Callum said, there was very little chance for him to escape alive and enjoy a reward, so why did he do it? It seems like madness. Of course, madness can be brought upon an unwilling victim by the skills of a Farmakeist, skills which Prince Nazagi appears to possess. But what could he possibly gain by sending a minion to attack Princess Cassidy, even if he had known where we were? No. Perhaps the guard was promised something on behalf of friend or family, something which he valued more than his own life. Daughters in need of inheritance? An alien wife? There's absolutely nothing I can do to investigate from inside this cell. I can only spin theories, each one wilder than the last. I wonder how Oscar is faring under these conditions. Is he taking care of himself and staying out of trouble? Is he driving himself to distraction, worrying about what's going on around him as I'm starting to? At least for the moment, he has obeyed my request and stayed away from me here. Even if I am bungling matters with Nazagi, Oscar should be safe. That is, as long as it's by his own choice that he is maintaining this distance. I stand up, take a deep breath, and let it out slowly. I will not fret about Oscar. Good, Madeleine. I'm sure he's fine. He's probably taking the time to write more terrible poetry. I must think calming thoughts and look at my window and wait. Oh, it's getting dark. Time passes. Afternoon shading into evening, evening into night, and still no one comes. Didn't Prince Nazagi suggest he would return in the evening? Where is he? I thought he just said have a good evening, so that meant he wouldn't come till tomorrow. Perhaps he intended a more clandestine visit in the cover of darkness. I pressed my face to the bars of my window, peering left and right. A clever and quiet individual might slip around the base of the castle to deliver a message to a prisoner without any guard being aware. But there is no one there. No one is coming. No one is going to come. There's nothing left for me to do but sleep. So I sleep. After a day spent mostly still and waiting, sleep does not come so easily. I lie alone in the dark, my senses prickling out every sound that forms. Prickling? Picking! Picking! How do you prickle sound? Gosh. I prickled a drip in the distance, a stray breeze, tiny skittering movements, insectile not rodent, which is only a minor relief. Sleep sounds like such an easy thing to do, doesn't it? You lie down, you close your eyes, and you drift away. Except when you're waiting for it to arrive, and it seems like it never will. Waiting. Always waiting. What a waste of time this is. Lying in bed waiting for some greater force that I can't control to come and carry me off. It should be my choice. I should be able to say, sleep, now, and have it happen. Why can't I? Why do we put up with this? Am I angry? Why am I angry? Who am I angry at? I can't be angry at sleep. That doesn't make sense. I think my thoughts are becoming confused. Sunlight, morning. I must have fallen asleep eventually. I can't remember. I think being trapped is starting to prey on my mind. Wait, did I just say that out loud? Eee. Well, that's not a good sign. I need to get out of here. But no one's coming. Calm down. I can do this. I haven't really been in here that long, and I won't be here for that much longer. I am fine. Even if none of my schemes bear any fruit, I have betrayed nothing and promised nothing. Oscar and I are both safe. And of course, I'm not entirely out of options. Hey, Gerard is coming with my food. After some time has passed, a guard arrives with my meal. Good morning, Gerard. It's Lambert. Oh, success. I've gotten him to say something outside of his duties. That's the first step in him thinking of me as a person. Hooray. Oh, let's have a romance with Lambert. I agree. That's a much better name. Mine is Madeleine. Huh. Thank you for the meal and have a pleasant day. Over time, people generally find it hard to hate someone who keeps being nice to them. At the very least, he should be willing to tell me a bit of gossip soon. I need to find out what's going on in the rest of the palace. Since Nazagi's being a patoot. Well, for the moment, I need to eat this food and keep my strength up. Stew again, although with a slightly different flavor this time. One must be grateful for small luxuries, I guess. I eat slowly, savoring the experience, since as soon as this is gone, I will have nothing left to do but sit and stare. Once again, I settle into place and look out the window, waiting. Perhaps Prince Nazagi will visit me today. Time passes. Time and time and time and time. It's becoming strangely cold in here. I wrap the rough blanket around my shoulders. Why do I feel tired all of a sudden? I shouldn't be tired. I've done nothing but sleep and sit. Perhaps I've slept too much. I rock back and forth, trying to regain my equilibrium. There's a painful pressure growing in my gut. Oh no, have I been poisoned? Uh-oh. Heartbeats in my ears. That's not a good sign. Something is wrong! Rock and roll music is playing. Something's definitely wrong. I launch myself away from the bed, falling to my knees on the stone floor just in time for the first contents of my stomach to fight their way up my throat. Ugh. Once I finish coughing and retching, I call for the guard to come and clean up the mess. At least that was my intention, but my body no longer seems willing to follow my commands. Oh no! My tongue feels swollen and numb in my mouth. My hands are shaking, my fingers cold, and my stomach crushes in on itself hard enough to crack nuts. Ow. I cry for help, but I'm not sure that I'm able to form words. Something is very wrong. Either I am terribly ill with an illness that has come on faster and stronger than anything I've ever seen before, or I have been poisoned. Oh no! This isn't good. Alone in the dark and cold of a dungeon cell. This is not how I wanted my life to end. I can't keep my eyes open.